Hey everyone, it's Evangeline here at eTrailer. Today we're taking a look at how the Inno Tire Hold HD fits on a 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee. If you're looking for a bike rack with a heavy-duty weight capacity for those heavier electric bikes, but also is really easy to use, that's where the Inno Tire Hold HD comes in handy. I like the Inno brand. I think they always make really good stuff, even if they may not be as popular as other racks. Now this specific bike rack though does have one downside, and that's its tilt-away feature. Because when you pull this lever and bring the rack down, it doesn't really tilt down that far. And the Jeep Grand Cherokee hatch is on the larger side. So if you have, like, say, a road bike, things should be fine. But here with our mountain bike and our handlebars at 25 inches long, notice what I have to do when I open up the hatch door. I actually stop it from automatically opening, and then I open it up manually because it might make contact with the handlebars. So from here, if I needed to grab something real quick, I can. But if I needed full access into the hatch, I could push the bike rack or the bike to the side and then leave the door open, as long as I remember to bring the handlebars right back out when the door comes back down. So it's not the perfect fit with our specific bike here, but it is nice to know that I do have options for still getting access into the hatch. But other than that, everything else in the bike rack works really well with this car. If I lift it up, the bike rack snaps back into place, and I'm now ready to drive. So let's talk about how this holds onto the bike. This is a dual wheel mount rack, meaning it holds on the bike by the front as well as the rear wheels. Now when I need to disengage the bike though, we do have these little levers on the tray. So what I do is I press the levers first on both sides. That just disengages the front and the rear wheel. Then I know it's not too tight. And that way from here I can just hold onto the bike with one hand as I push out on that lever with the other. This slides out of the way, and now I can grab the bike and go. Now if I really wanted to, if you look over at that lever, you would be able to lower those arms all the way down to the ground. Now that would be an option that you would take if you want to use a ramp. So you can see here the trays. Those trays are where you could just roll the bike up and onto the rack, not individual cradles you have to fit into, but the ramp is sold separately. So that's only something that I would suggest if you have a heavier bike and you do struggle a little bit with getting it up and onto the rack. So how heavy of a bike can you carry with this? Well, this does have an individual bike weight capacity of 80 pounds. Now it does also have a total weight capacity of, I believe, 150 pounds, and that's for two bikes on there. So you can carry pretty hefty bikes. And even if your bikes have, let's say, fenders or different types of frames, it doesn't matter because it holds onto your bike by the front and the rear wheel. Now, this does take up a little bit of space behind your car. So let's take some measurements to see exactly how much. If I measure here by the bumper to the end of the rack, that's about 32 inches. So that's something to keep in mind if you're backing into your garage or need to park into a really tight spot. The next measurement is going to be ground clearance. In our case here, what I like to measure for is where do I put the bikes up on the rack. So here it's 24 inches or 2 feet, which is a good amount of height. That's pretty normal for the Grand Cherokee because of where their hitches are. And for that reason, if you're not comfortable with lifting heavy bikes up 2 feet, I definitely recommend the add-on ramp available here at eTrailer. Now another thing you can do is if you need to make your bike rack a bit more compact, you can fold it up against the vehicle. Now you have two choices here. You can pull the lever and go into the first position, or you can continue pulling the lever and go into the fully compact position. The first position is there for vehicles that have struggled with clearances. Let's say their hitches are in a weird spot, they may have like a spare tire or something. Here on the Grand Cherokee, it fits totally fine. You're still able to use a fully compact position where it takes up 11 inches behind your vehicle. When you're driving around, I always recommend having it in this position because not everyone is going to see your bike rack when it's down, but this will mean you take up less space on the road and more people will be able to see that you have your rack. Now let's take a quick look here if we are able to fully open up our hatch. As you can see, yes, we can. So if you do really want to drive around with it in this angled position because you care more about your hatch access, that's an option for you. The good news is it's super easy to adjust the bike rack when needed. Now, with that being said, this is what it looks like behind your vehicle. This is how other people will see your bike rack. Something I always look at is if it covers my window or my taillights or my license plates, things like that. Taillights are fully visible. The license plate is a little bit covered, but mostly visible. The good news is that the backup camera sits right here above that handle. So that means you're gonna have pretty good visibility behind there when you're driving around. If someone's walking past you, if there's a vehicle behind you, you should be able to see them through that camera. So if you are looking for a heavy-duty bike rack that can carry heavy electric bikes up to 80 pounds, I really like the Inno Tire Hold HD. Now, I do wish that it tilted down a bit further, but I still appreciate how you're able to use it, as well as that it does have an add-on ramp. If you're looking for an alternative, maybe something like the Rocky Mounts Gigawatt would be a good option. That one you can also use a ramp with. It is very nicely designed. It is a little bit different where it has a front wheel mount, but still using the dual wheel mount design of the Inno Tire Hold might be better for you when it comes to ease of use and getting your bike up and onto the rack. So you can find that other bike rack available here at eTrailer if you are interested in it. But today, this was a look at the Inno Tire Hold HD 2-bike platform rack on the 2018 Jeep Grand Cherokee.